So, you're wondering what's happening in the real estate market in 2019? Well, that's what we're talking about today, and we are starting right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Harry Moore and I'm a realtor in the Washington, D.C. metro area. I post new videos every week about all things real estate in the DMV. Well, 2018 was an interesting year. As I was collecting my thoughts for this, I flashed to a book that I read in high school, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Well, 2018 was a tale of two markets. There was the story of the first 6 months. Things started off on a high note with lots of activity and anticipation that it would be a really active year. The first half of the year was just that. Driven by high demand and some of the lowest inventory in years, it was a spring for the sellers. Then things started to turn a bit. The second half of the year, inventory levels moved up, although they were still very low, and interest rates moved up as well. They started at 4.15, they jumped up to 4.85 by October, but then they settled back in about the 4.5 range in December. For some historical perspective, from 1971 to 2009, the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage never fell below 5%. Even during the big run-up in home prices from 2000 to 2007, they were in the 6 to 8 range. Combine interest rate volatility with a mostly downhill roller coaster ride of the stock market starting in October, and by year's end, most of us had a pretty severe case of whiplash. But if you take a step back, it was still a solid year for real estate in the DC metro area. The total number of properties sold was the second highest in the past 5 years. Not too shabby. So let's dig in and take a look at some of the numbers. Regionally, inventory was up slightly, as were pending contracts. The total number of units sold was down, although prices were up by about 3.5%. That's lower than the rate of price appreciation in 2017, but it's pretty close to the historical average of 4.3%. So there was a change in the market, but not a dramatic one. More a change in tone than direction. In my mind, that's good news. We don't really need a repeat of 2007 to 2011. The market needed to cool off a bit, and it seems to be doing just that. As is always the case, regional news only tells part of the story. Let's take a look at some of the local jurisdictions and just how they stacked up. We'll start on the Maryland side of the river with Montgomery County. The county showed an increase in inventory and a decrease in pending contracts, and a decrease in the actual number of sales. Yet somehow, price appreciation bucked the downward trend and was up by 4.8%. The appreciation rate for the county in 2016 and 2017 was right around 2.5%. So the 2018 number seems to be a bit of a contrarian result. So Washington, D.C. has consistently been one of the strongest sectors of the region for the past few years, but 2018 tells a slightly different story. Inventory was up slightly, total sales were down by 2.3%, so there may be signs of change, although the annual rate of appreciation is only slightly below the 18-year norm at 3.6%. Now we'll take a quick look at Prince George's County. After 2 years of appreciation over 8%, the rate for 2018 dipped to 2.8%. We also saw a decrease in pendings and a total sales decrease as well. Prince George's County was one of the hardest hit areas during the Great Recession, so homeowners needed those high rates of appreciation to try and help recover. But numbers like that aren't sustainable, so a cooling off of the appreciation rate is good news. So now let's hop across the Potomac and see what's going on in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Alexandria City seems to be one of the winners. Inventory was way down year over year and pending contracts were up substantially. the total number of sales were up and prices moved up by 3.1%. Of all of the major Northern Virginia jurisdictions, Alexandria had the highest increase in the number of totals. Next door, in Arlington, the story was not quite so rosy. Inventory was down substantially, and pending contracts were up by 20%, but prices actually moved down by 2.6%. These numbers seem kind of counterintuitive to me, given the pending and inventory numbers, but sometimes the real estate market, like the stock market, doesn't really seem to make sense. Finally, let's take a look at Fairfax County. Inventory was down, although not as much as Arlington and Alexandria, while pending contracts were up. The total number of sold units was down by 2.6%, and the average sold price moved down by 2.5%. So supply was down, and demand for the year was down, although less than supply. So prices did soften slightly. So, to tie a bow on the package of 2018, there was quite a bit of up and down in the market. Some of that based on speculation about Amazon. Some of it because of interest rate volatility, and certainly the stock market roller coaster had something to say about everything. But when the dust settled, it was a pretty good year overall, with a change ever so slightly back towards a more balanced market. What about 2019? Well, the government shutdown did not get things off to a great start. It was certainly a disheartening 35 days and a terrible hardship for many people in the area. But we'll have to wait and see how that ends up impacting the real estate market in the DMV. Here are a few graphs that give some national projections on real estate appreciation in 2019 and 2020. This one is an aggregate of predictions about national rates of appreciation for 2019 and 2020 from people who watch the big picture economic factors. As you can see, the rates of appreciation are solid, falling between 2.5% and 4.5%, which fits into the range of historic norms. That's good news. Buyers could use a little relief, but if prices start to fall, then inventory would start to tighten up again, and that'd make it even harder for people to find houses. And here's one more national graphic. This shows the probability, state by state, of home prices being lower in 2 years. I've also zoomed in a bit so you can see that the DMV also shows minimal risk of depreciation. Of course, nobody has a crystal ball, but the key indicators all look pretty good in the short to medium term. I know that these numbers don't really drill down to the local level. If you'd like more detailed information on your neighborhood or a neighborhood that you're thinking about moving into, please feel free to reach out and let me know. My contact information is below, or you can just comment on this video and I'll get right back to you. I'd be happy to put together a report. Also, if you know anyone who's thinking about buying or selling in 2019, I'd appreciate the opportunity to speak with them to see if I can be of assistance. If you like this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and punch the notifications bell so you can keep up with new videos as they are released. Thanks for watching and have a great day.